If you listen to the mainstream media, you would think that everything is falling apart for the Trump administration with the tariff wars and the constant court interference of his agenda. However, according to a recent Rasmussen poll and others, Trump's approval rating remains relatively steady, just under 50% in polling averages. However, for the Democrat Party, the opposite has become true. Their approval rating is cratering. It's falling off a cliff, especially for the Democrat Party leadership, which their polling data has now dropped sharply from their all-time lows earlier this year, where they hit 34%, and they are now finding themselves having reached a horrid 25% approval rating for their leadership. It is easily the worst rating that they have ever had. And this shouldn't be surprising, though, considering all the stupid decisions that the Democrat Party has made in their resistance against Donald Trump. You know, the man that the American people voted into office.
Turn me around, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let those lousy billionaires turn me around, no, turn me around, no.
Dream. Have you got that? So it's just all the good people, but the second line, part of this family, and the last line, we're joined together by this noble dream. Do that with me. This is a song for all the good people. We're joined together by this noble dream.
Now, this is an article from the conservative news site American Wire talking about this very issue. They write, Gallup shows congressional Dems leadership ratings in free fall. Democrats are increasingly dissatisfied with their congressional leadership, which has sunk to an all-time low, according to a new poll that suggests there could be internal turmoil to come for the party that was just decisively rejected by voters in the 2024 election. According to the Gallup poll that was released on Thursday, confidence rating for Democrats has plummeted to a paltry 25%, down 9 points from the previous 34% low from March 2023. The poll, which was conducted from April 1st to the 14th, seems to suggest that respondents don't see Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries as capable of leading the party, which has been a listing and rudderless ship since President Donald Trump destroyed Kamala Harris and Democrats lost control of the Senate back in November. I mean, how can you be surprised with someone like Hakeem Jeffries constantly crying? It's embarrassing. Let's see. The National Polling Organization said about this that Democratic congressional leaders' rating among their own party faithful has fallen 41 points since last year to the lowest point ever. On the flip side, confidence in the Republican congressional leadership is at 39%, 15 points above their lowest watermark from back in 2014. According to Gallup, Democrat, and by the way, that is also right around the time of the Tea Party, when the new conservative groups were abandoning the old GOP rhinos and trying to bring conservatism back to the Republican Party. And that would be the precursor to what eventually would become the nationalistic approach for somebody like Donald Trump, just as an FYI. Anyway, American Wire goes on to write that the dismal numbers could conceivably get even lower, with the party tripling down on the wrong side of the 80-20 issues that turned off voters and resulted in it being stripped of national power. Think DEI, the whole trans issue, think pro-mass illegal immigration, etc., etc. And of course, one of these issues is the crusade, writes the American Wire, on behalf of an alleged MS-13 gangbanger who was deported to El Salvador last month, with Kilmar Garcia being elevated to martyr status that could soon equal, if not surpass, that of a career criminal and drug addict, George Floyd, whose unfortunate death while resisting arrest sparked violent national race riots, which were championed by many congressional Democrats. The party's base has become increasingly radicalized and angry over Trump's return to the White House and Elon Musk's work with the Department of Government Efficiency, which has exposed the Democrat rackets while cutting waste and corruption within the federal bureaucracy. Some have even gone so far as to turn to domestic terrorism, including the firebombing of Tesla dealerships. And Schumer has incurred the wrath of leftists when he refused to go along with their demands to shut down the federal government last month. Gallup's numbers come at a time when party's most extreme members were making inroads and could soon displace the fossilized leadership represented by these people. So, and the American Wire finishes up the article saying that, but the problem for Democrats is that the further left the party goes in shoveling bloody red meat to feed their animals, the more that they alienate the larger electorate, which isn't going to help them in future elections, the only poll that really matters. And the American Wire is right here. The Democrat Party's approval rating collapse, specifically for their leadership, all comes back to the inept behavior of these supposed adults in the room and the marriage of their radical ideology. Right now, the Democrat Party is being run by the most radical, extreme, and vile elements. This is what has taken command of the party. And the American people can see this, which is why the favorability of the Democrat Party as a whole isn't faring much better either. According to a recent CNN poll, for example, the Democrat Party has hit an all-time low of just 29%, down from 81% in January of 2021. This is reflecting huge national disdain for what the Democrat Party has become, what they have embraced. You cannot expect the party of pro-DEI, pro-trans issues, mass illegal immigration, soft on crime, pro-terrorism, think the Free Luigi movement and support for attack on Teslas, and think that these insane stances, these insane policies are part of a winning platform. And yet, bless their hearts, they keep doubling down on the insanity. The radicals that have taken over the Democrat Party that they embraced 2 decades ago have wrested control of the ship, and they are driving it right off the cliff, deeper and deeper into the abyss with their insane lunacy. But I think that that is a good thing for the American people. This might be just what the doctor ordered for the U.S. The radical left has taken this country into an extreme state that seems to know no end. They have brought political violence into this country by the refusal to accept the election all the way back in 2000 with Bush v. Gore and the hanging Chad drama. If you want to know where the whole radical anti-Americanism really took root, you can find it right there. This is when the Democrat Party began to shift away from their centrism towards the more radical elements. The 2000 election launched the unruly political behavior that has since become the norm. And being out of power now and being disdained by the American people presents an opportunity not just for American politics, but for the Democrat Party to find a way to reset their priorities. A decade in the wilderness for the Democrat Party right now would be a very good thing for the country. It would give us all a time to heal from the madness of the radical left, a time to bring this country back to normality, which has been lacking since the September 11th attack back in 2001. Just as the Democrat Party was forced to rebrand after getting spanked by Ronald Reagan back in the 1980s, which forced them to move to centrism after 12 years out of power from the presidency, which that, by the way, brought us Bill Clinton, with his 1992 campaign, which emphasized a third way. His policies, his willingness to work with the Republicans would end up winning moderates back to the party. And a similar shift now could happen if the Democrat Party is forced out of power for the time being. It's going to be crazy for a while because of the Civil War happening, but the DNC, the Democrat Party, needs to be cleansed of their hate, of their radicalism, to ever come back to being a majority party. And that's going to take time. They need to prove to the American people that they have stopped sniffing the crack of radicalism. And America needs time to recover from the hangover of their insane liberalism. Now let's hope that someday the Democrat Party will find themselves back into the era of the 1990s or the JFK era. And if that happens, maybe someday they would have a right to return to power.